I'm going to give you 4 pros and 4 cons so that you can know more about Nashville, and we're getting started right now. Hey there, and welcome to the channel. If this is your first time to the channel and you're wanting to know all things about Nashville and the surrounding areas around Nashville, feel free to click the subscribe button below, click the bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new video or give you any market information. I'm Michael, and Joshua, Caleb, James David, and our team, we get calls from people like you from all over the country looking to move to the Nashville area, and they're asking questions. And when they ask questions, we want to be able to answer those questions. So whether you're moving in one day, 1 month, or 1 year, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and we'll help you make your move smooth when you come to Nashville. All right, so we're going to get started with the pros and cons of Nashville. And the first con here in Nashville is definitely the transportation. Not just transportation because of traffic, because traffic is something we're going to take a look at too, but there's no public transportation. I can't say there's no public transportation, but compared to the big cities like Atlanta and New York and LA and places like that, they have full train systems, subway systems, all kinds of public transportation. We do have a bus system here, and there's tour buses that take you around on tours, but there's really not a good, viable public transportation system that really works well. And if you're looking at going out of the downtown Nashville area, really there's nothing. There's Uber and Lyft and taxis and things like that, but there's really not a good public transportation system that's going to be reasonable and affordable. If you're going to Franklin, it's going to take you 30 minutes, and that's going to get expensive pretty quick. Pro number one, now that I've given you con number one, pro number one is definitely Southern hospitality. Now, I grew up in the South, so I'm used to this, and grew up in Georgia where everybody says, "How you doing?" Or you go to the restaurant and the waitress says, "How you doing, sugar?" She just got like Southern charm. It is all about Southern hospitality. People say, "Hey," people wave at people. Now, don't get me wrong, not everybody's like that. And since there's a lot of people moving here, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. There's definitely people moving from other places, and they may not have that Southern charm like most of the South. But the vast majority of people, I'd say 90% or more, are definitely very Southern and Southern hospitality. So now, number two on the con list, I was just outside just a few minutes ago, and man, it took me 3 minutes to start sweating really bad because the humidity is just insane. So summer heat feels like an oven, and then if you just stand there in the South, you can just stand and sweat. That's like you're not even doing anything, you're not moving. It's not like you're running or anything. You're just sweating just because you're outside. So that's definitely a con. And a good pro. Pro number two, there's music everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're at a coffee shop. There's live music at a coffee shop most of the time. There's live music almost every night of the week at many, many restaurants, whether you're in downtown Nashville, whether you're in Franklin, Murfreesboro, Hendersonville, just about every restaurant. There's so many people that want to be musicians here. They need a place to play and need a place to practice. And when they do, they're doing it in the restaurants. They're doing it in the coffee shop. You know what? I was actually in the airport leaving Nashville, and even in the bars or the restaurants in the airport, live music all the time. It's amazing how many different places have music. Music is everywhere. Number three on the con list, and this could be a pro and a con, there's a lot of people moving to the Nashville area and the surrounding areas around Nashville. And that's a pro from the standpoint that there's new technology coming, new companies coming, job market is strong, economy is strong because people are moving here. It's also a con because housing market is really tough here. It's high priced. People are moving in from all over the country. People like from, say, California, they're selling their house, and maybe their house was a lot more expensive. They're selling their house. They have all that equity. They bring it here and put more money down on the house here, and you can get a lot more land and a lot more house here than you can in, say, LA or San Diego, places like that. So that could be a pro from one standpoint on the economic side, but it's definitely a con on the housing market because housing prices are through the roof. Number three on the pro side, pro number three is the rest of the weather. Like, I know that's kind of weird because I talked about summer being a con because of the heat and the humidity, but the rest of the year, we have 4 seasons. We have an incredible spring, 60s to say 75, beautiful. Everything's budding. It's just amazing. Fall, cool nights, great time if you want to go take a drive. Fall colors. This is the foothills of the mountains, so you can just take a drive. And when you're taking a drive, you're going to see beautiful colors, the cool air. It's just wonderful in the fall. So winter is for a while I lived in Michigan, so winter's mild compared to Michigan. We do get a little bit of snow, not a whole lot of snow. There's really more ice and sleet and that kind of thing for winter, and it doesn't last very long. There's usually a couple of cold snaps, is what they call them in the South. We have a cold snap, and a cold snap may last a week or two, where you're getting those lower numbers in the 30s, and I say lower numbers. In Michigan, lower numbers are negative numbers, but like it does get cold. It's just not as cold as it is in the northern part of the country. So that's definitely more of a pro because we have 4 seasons and it's constantly changing, which means you're not stuck in this forever heat and you're not stuck in the depressing snow for months and months and months, like 6 or 8 months of the year. So it makes it a whole lot easier when you have 4 seasons and you're always looking forward to, hey, what's next? And, fall's coming. I'm looking forward to the fall colors, or spring's coming and we're going to see all the flowers and everything blooming. So that's definitely a pro. The fourth con is definitely the traffic. I know I talked about public transportation earlier as number one. Number four is definitely traffic because they're constantly doing construction. They're upgrading the roads. The roads here, there's a lot of potholes. There's a lot of trouble with the roads. So they're replacing the roads, or if they're not replacing the roads, they're adding new roads because there's so much traffic. Traffic can get really backed up when one small thing happens in Nashville. It pretty much shuts down all the interstates because they kind of, I know they interconnect in every city, but like they're really weird here. Like you would think that there would be a highway that would just go straight into Nashville, but if you go straight into Nashville, you have to take 2 highways, or you could take 1 highway, but then there's another way around. And then if you go the other way, you're near the airport, and then there's traffic coming that way. It's just a mess. It's like all over the place. So that is definitely a con. And then number 4 in the pro department, for another pro number 4 is coffee, food, the culture, the foodie culture, if you want to call it that. There are so many places to eat. One of my favorite places to eat is a meat and 3. And if you don't know what a meat and 3 is, it's a piece of meat, 3 vegetables, or starches, or whatever you want to call them. They're good. And the meat can be fried chicken. Nashville is world renowned for Nashville hot chicken. If you like fried chicken, or if you like hot fried chicken, like spicy hot, Nashville is the place to be. That is all over the place. We can certainly give you recommendations on places to go get hot chicken. Definitely good barbecue here. Of course, you can find all the national chains and things like that, but you can get down into some mom and pop shops that are absolutely incredible food. And coffee shops, I would say most of the coffee shops, you have national chains like Starbucks, but most of the coffee shops are also more of the local flavor kind of coffee shops, and they are amazing. So if you're into coffee, this is definitely a place you can be. You're going to get any kind of coffee you want, iced, hot, it doesn't matter. Most of it's fresh. It's just an incredible place. And being in the South, we like our sugar. Since we like our sugar, you can definitely get donuts and croissants. And actually, one of my daughters, she's really big into these chocolate croissants. I don't know if they just take a croissant and they cook it and then they just dip it in a bag of chocolate and hand it to you. I have no idea, but they are obviously really good because all she wants to talk about when she goes to a coffee shop is, can I get a chocolate croissant? So if that's something you're interested in, you love sweets, definitely the coffee shops around here are going to be the place to go. So that wraps up our 4 pros and 4 cons. I want to add one more pro to this. That's just kind of outside the box, if you want to call it that. The pro is where we are in the United States, because Nashville doesn't sit all the way in the south, really far, where you have to drive a long way to go toward the north, or you have to fly a long way to go to the north. And we're not all the way up in the north, so same thing, coming south. We're close to Georgia and close to Atlanta. It's about a 3.5-hour drive to Atlanta, 3.5 to 4, depending on traffic. It's not far from St. Louis. It's not far from going to Ohio, Indiana, Chicago. It's just kind of not all the way central in America, but definitely for the eastern part of America, you can get, I call it a hop, skip, and a jump into most cities around pretty quick. And if you can't do that, you can certainly fly. And I think we flew not too long ago to Phoenix, and it takes about 2.5, 3 hours. Las Vegas was 3 hours. So it's not super far there. If you're going to go out of the country, you're going to end up going to a hub like Atlanta or Charlotte or somewhere like that anyway. So you can take a flight into Atlanta and go pretty much anywhere in the world. So Nashville, it does have an international airport. It's been upgrading for a while. Another construction problem, another traffic problem, but it's definitely a leading place all across America to live at this point. And they've been upgrading and correcting the road systems, working on the airport, and many, many corporations are moving here, moving their headquarters here so that they can have the same things that you have, the pros and cons that you want to have living in Nashville. So that wraps up our list. If you have any other questions, you want to know more about the area, if you want to know where to get hot chicken or any other restaurants, certainly the meat and threes, those are my favorite. Feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'll be glad to help you make your move to Tennessee.